Welcome.
Good morning.
I'm Amy. Welcome to our farm.
How you doing, Amy?
Open the Gate is a really special program. You're bringing folks out that have been in some type of transitional program in rescue missions, but they haven't quite experienced this yet. This level of vulnerability in terms of emotional vulnerability, telling your story. And they haven't been involved in the power that comes from having it told well.
Feel the pressure on my chest, taste the regret on my breath. Search of second chances that I haven't given myself yet. Tell myself that I won't cave. I don't want this thing I crave. Won't you take this pain, speak my name, and open up the gate? Don't wanna be.
It's a tricky thing when you write a song. You're writing someone's story, and it's really a tall order because you don't want to offend them. You also want to honor them, and again, trying to walk that fine line of something that honors and inspires them and completely validates what they've gone through.
To write with someone who has not only a lot of life behind them, but a difficult life behind them and a difficult story. Like, that's kind of the ultimate as a writer, to be able to kind of divine from a difficult circumstance something that brings healing.
So I'll walk this road through hell to the sound of a broken bell. Oh, help me, Jesus, help me, please. I can't do this by myself. Don't wanna be the great pretender. Waving white flag in surrender. Go where that hope is gonna find me. Let that bridge burn down behind me.
As everyone was sharing their stories, one of the things that kept coming up was they were talking about a lot of times, oh man, I did that and I burned this bridge. And it was a common theme with pretty much everybody. And after they left and Cindy and I went over to the truck to write, and we were just talking about that the idea of burning the bridge is so often connotates you did something terrible and you can never go back there. But the truth of the matter is they don't want to go back there. And so we talked about, well, what if we flip it and make burning the bridge be a good thing? I mean, because it means your only option is to go forward and make progress and not be pulled back into the old way of living.
Burn down behind me.
Got into the dealing of the drugs and the using of the drugs and the fast life, and my life was just destroyed by drugs.
The idea of co-writing with people who are coming from a difficult journey, that is some fertile ground.
Some needles find a groove. Inject your soul with some rock and roll and make you move.
And so for me, it was a great fit because I actually do a songwriting workshop, oftentimes with people who are quite new at the process. I met with a group of gentlemen. They were all addicts, and it was really important to me to not brush by that story, because the good stuff comes from the pain.
Some needles find a vein, and just for a moment, sister, you can kill the pain.
My intention was to say, I heard your story. I listened to your story. But there's one part in that song that came out of the lips of one of those people.
And my relapse saw me coming.
And it's the bridge says, my relapse saw me coming. Dear Lord, this guy's a songwriter. So that's that.
Being able to tell somebody's story in a song is the most powerful way, I think, because you have a lot of tools. You have words, you have melody, you have groove, and you have structure. I think from a therapeutic value, especially when you're hurting, especially when you're dealing with trauma, being able to tell your story inside a structure is safe. They're willing to tell you more of themselves and more of their story, and maybe even take a risk in telling you things because of the structure of a song. They feel safe. It's like a house that's well built.
I opened up a lot too since I've been here. Like just in this little bit of time, like I had never talked to anybody like about what's been going on with me, you know what I'm saying, and what's going on in my past. So that was definitely a big step. It was almost scary, to be honest with you. So yeah.
Dear me, I wrote you this letter hoping someday you will see and believe that no matter what you've been through, you're everything you need to be. Take what I say to heart and make your brand new start. Dear me, love me.
It was really great timing for me in the last couple of years to be involved with these programs, because as a songwriter, I needed to finally go, why am I doing this again? And have an answer that was worth it.
Don't listen to the past, 'cause it ain't even half the girl you were or the woman you are now. God knows you're strong and brave, and they can't take that away if love's the only thing your heart allows. But dear me,
A couple of the women from the first weekend retreat came back and worked. I remember one woman specifically, Deborah. She had this whole different walk, this whole different assertiveness. Yeah, and it was so amazing.
If I wouldn't have turned my life toward Christ, I wouldn't be doing none of this. I wouldn't be standing right here. You know, it's wonderful. I don't beat myself up. I just thank God that I had the opportunity to turn it around, you know.
All of the women from the first retreat that came back to the next retreat, it was like they were different people. It was like they were transformed. And which they say, when you feel heard, when you feel like someone heard you and someone validated your experience, it is life-changing. And I saw that in their faces.
Brought hope, healing, mercy, and love, and they praised him as he went from town to town. Some followed closely and some followed far. Oh, and others only tried to shut him down.
But what makes Hope in the Gate special, and what makes the farm special, is that it is an intense moment of coming to terms with your story and turning it from a story that you thought was your worst moment into realizing that it can be your best. And if everything goes like it should go, that's what happens.
Tattoos on my arm, wrote it all down with scars on my skin. Wrote it all down, trying to love somebody. Wrote it all down, getting hurt again. But that's not the end of my story. That's not where the period goes. That's not the end of my story. That's something God only knows. God knows. That's not the end of my story. It's the end of my regrets. That's not the end of my story. There's a lot more living yet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Thank you, gang. Have a great night.